I should probably be reviewing one of these two kits right now, but it's Gunpla News Night, so we're doing this instead. We are right on the cusp of the Gunpla Next Phase project exhibit reveal, but before we come up to that, there's just a couple little teasers from Bandai, a little bit of something to whet our appetites. Now these are two very close, kind of cropped in teaser images of two kits they're going to be showing off there, and because time zones are weird, there's a very high likelihood that there's already going to be full pictures of these up and on the internet by the time this video goes live. But when I was recording this, these were the only pictures we had. Okay? Okay, good. So this is a shoulder. If you've seen Char's Counterattack, or if you're just moderately familiar with the Universal Century, I shouldn't have to tell you what this shoulder is. It's a Jagd. We don't have any confirmation of the exact grade for this kit yet, but we do know that it is 1/100 scale. So this thing is either a Reborn 100 or a Master Grade. Judging by the level of detail, my personal guess is that this is a Master Grade. It looks like there's way more part separation here than you'd see with a Re 100. Either way, this is really cool news because we will now finally have all the Char's Counterattack suits as Master Grades. Well, except the Hobby Hyzak, but nobody likes the Hobby Hyzak. The other teaser picture we saw was a little glimpse at a sword that is going to be very familiar to the 00 fans out there. This is the GN Sword 4 of the 00 QanT Full Saber. Judging by the color separation, it's pretty much a guarantee that this is going to be a Master Grade. Besides, we've already gotten a real grade Full Saber, so there's not much else it could be. I'm personally pretty excited to see this. I have always liked the Full Saber QanT since it kind of balances out the design. I do like the one shoulder armored, sabered up version that you see in the movie. However, from a physical, engineering standpoint, it is a bit of a hassle because you have this kit with one big clump of weight all on one side. So it is nice to have the Full Saber parts to balance it out. This next picture I'm going to show you guys isn't a new reveal. Instead, this is a promotional image for the figurized Fumina statue coming out. What I found really interesting about this picture is that it shows us exactly how they're going to be getting that shading effect on the parts. You can see it for yourself right here. It looks like they got two colors and they kind of changed the thickness of the top layer so that you can see more or less of the color beneath it. It's a really clever way to make the kit look like it's been pre-painted. Even if I'm not really into the Fumina statue specifically, I'm still pretty interested in seeing how this technology pans out. So apparently it looks like we're going to be getting a separate LED set for the PG Exia, so for those of you who bought the standard version that didn't have the LEDs, you now have an option to upgrade it to the LED version. Now, granted, that's still not an ideal experience since you're going to have to completely disassemble your existing Exia and stick the LEDs in it. But still, if you got the time and dedication and you want to maybe get them separately so you don't have to buy the whole thing all at once, it's not a bad deal. So speaking of Exias, the other really cool piece of Exia news I've got for you guys pertains to the Master Grade Avalanche Exia. You guys saw this last time. It was crazy. It was cool. I liked it back then, and now I'm really excited for it because this kit is going to be another US released, bluefin distributed premium Bandai kit. That means that even though this kit is P Bandai, it's still going to be getting a limited retail release in the United States. Now, unfortunately, it is only in the United States, so if you live in Australia or Europe, you're still screwed. But still, this is going to make it a lot easier for people in the US or Canada to get a hold of one. So now we're coming into some of the, I guess, kind of leftover news from Shizuoka. There was just a couple little minor things they showed after I finished recording yesterday's episode, so let's just dive right into that. The first thing we got here is a 1/100 scale base jabber. This is a very, very rough prototype, as you can see. We don't even know what grade this is going to be yet. But obviously it's meant to work with the Master Grade Jagd. And I suppose by extension, since this thing did also pop up in Unicorn, you could also use it with your Master Grade Just a Cannon. The upcoming high-grade Universal Century Sinanju Stein sleeves version was also at Shizuoka, and we're finally able to see it in color. And it looks good. Like, really good. I cannot wait to get my hands on one of these. And finally, to close up the night, we have a couple of new Unicorn kits coming to Gundam Base Tokyo, because what other kits would you make as exclusives for a building that has a giant unicorn Gundam outside of it? So this first one is actually really interesting. This is a high-grade Universal Century Unicorn Gundam Destroy Mode painting version. So what this is a completely uncolored from head to toe model of the high-grade Unicorn specifically designed for painters. The idea being is that because the psychoframe plastic is clear and all the body plastic is either white or a very light gray, you can paint the kit whatever color you like without having to put down a neutral base coat. I think it's a pretty neat idea, and it's especially handy on the Unicorn Gundam since it has all those clear pieces. It's certainly not for everyone, but it's still a very interesting release. And finally, to wrap up the night, we have a kit that I was very excited for until I got actual details about it, and then I completely lost interest in it. This is the Real Grade Unicorn Gundam lighting version. Yeah, remember that, oh man, I can't even remember if I told you guys about this, but like months and months ago, there was like this real grade unicorn they had at one of the Gunpla Next Phase projects that had like LEDs in it, and they pretty clearly listed it as a concept thing that they really weren't even considering selling, but this thing is actually going to be for sale at Gundam Base. So what I thought this was originally was a real grade unicorn that had been really heavily retooled to accommodate all these LEDs, and it was going to have the stand with like the what's that like technology they use for like the wireless phone charging where you just set the phone on the base and it charges it? Whatever that stuff's called, I assume they had like that in the base, so you like set the kit on it and it would like light up on its own. And if this was that, it would be awesome and I would be all over it and I would try to get one no matter the price. But what this actually is a lot less impressive. This is an unposable, non-transforming husk of a real grade unicorn that is permanently wired down to its base. All it can do is stand there and either glow green or glow red. To be honest, this is a lot lamer than it could have been, and there's really no reason for this to have been based around the real grade. They could have done this just as easily with the high grade, since it doesn't have to transform or pose or basically do anything that makes the real grade Gundam cool and unique. I really don't think this is worth the 10,000 yen asking price at all. And there we go, that's Gunpla news for tonight. So I thought I had a little more for you guys. Guess I don't. Oh well, I'm sure we'll have plenty more when the full Gunpla Next Phase project exhibit gets revealed. So if you want to stick around and see that, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, because that's just what you do here on the YouTubes. And as always, I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and I will see you next time. Hopefully reviewing one of these two guys. Probably this one. Take care.